Good evening. Welcome to mylifestyleshow.tv. It's awesome to have you here, guys. We have another fantastic speaker this week. I'm so excited. And obviously, for those guys that haven't been on the show before, this is a purely educational show. So there's no pitching or selling. So you can sit back, relax, have your glass of wine or a cup of tea, and just take it all in. But please remember, it is interactive. So you're welcome to ask any questions, get your questions answered live by the expert we have on tonight. I'm very excited. But the idea of this show is purely about inspiration and motivation to help mainly women entrepreneurs to create a lifestyle biz that they love, full of time, financial freedom, doing what they love. So I have an awesome speaker here tonight who envisages that body, I think, of creating a lifestyle. And it's really interesting because we were just talking about before of Ali. Now I'm going to make sure, is it pronounced Soleil?
It is, yeah.
It is. I got that right. Yay! Just want to make sure I pronounce that right. Yay. Now, Ali, I know by reputation around the UK, and that's why I asked her to come on the show. She's a life coach and a workshop mentor, but her main focus is really supporting, I guess, sensitive entrepreneurs to get them to thrive and kind of step into their own, I think, really. She's built her business mainly through running really successful workshops, and that's how kind of Ali got on my radar, because I've been watching and listening and getting some great feedback from them. But it's all about helping women to really live a fab lifestyle. So it's all about focusing on lifestyle, and the lifestyle then obviously brings the income afterwards. So it's not focusing on this, I have to have 6 figures to live the life of my dreams, because everyone wants different things. So it's really about creating a business around your life and what you love. And hence the reason it sinks in beautifully for my show, because that's what I practice, what I preach. It's all about creating a life and a biz around what you love. Now, so tonight we're going to talk about some key things. So it's exploding your business by hosting profitable workshops, attracting your ideal clients, and making a difference in upselling. So we've got some key points to go through. We're going to go through why now is the perfect time to create and host your own small workshops, what you must know before you host a successful workshop, the essentials to attracting ideal clients to fill them up, because that's got to be one of the hardest parts, and how to overcome the fear of speaking to a small group. I say start with a webinar because it's much more fun and easy instead of getting in front of a group first. But hey, let's listen to see what Ali says. So Ali, welcome. It's so fantastic to have you here. Thank you for giving up your time to provide some amazing value to my lovely audience. So welcome aboard.
Oh, thank you. I'm really honoured to have been asked to be part of your show, Kylie. So thank you so much for inviting me. Yeah, it's just great to be here. So
fantastic. If you want to share a bit about your background and your story, just so people know who you are, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Now, can I quickly say, before you just said about creating webinars and Google Hangouts, like, is a great way to start before you get in front of people. I just want everyone to know this is my first ever Google Hangout. Woo! So bear with me. So yeah, a bit about my background. So I've been a coach for the last 5 years or so, and I have had the privilege of working with some really amazing clients all around the world, and there's nothing that makes me feel more of a sense of sort of, thrill and fulfillment than knowing that I've made a difference. And being able to reach lots of different people, it's created, an amazing community and a pool of people for me to work with. And then the money has come. I've never been somebody that's gone after the dollar. That's not what it's about for me. It really is about creating transformations and helping people. And through that, I've been able to travel. I've been able to, do things that perhaps, I had on my dream board for a long time, and I was able to start ticking them off, and, just really enjoy life in a different way and have a greater sense of security. But it wasn't always like that. And I remember when I first qualified as a coach, I wonder if this will resonate with some of you listening in. Kind of like my coaching school said to me, oh, it's really easy to get clients. It's, it's like the second fastest growing industry on the planet after IT. And everybody needs a coach. So I got my business cards. For some reason, I even had letter-headed paper and compliment slips. Don't know why.
Oh, bless. I haven't heard that one for a while.
I know. Well, it was like 5 years ago. And, I had my trusty mobile phone. I was like, yes, I'm ready to take those calls because they're all going to be coming to me now. And there was nothing, a bit of tumbleweed, nothing. And then I thought, oh my gosh, okay, so what do I need to do? And I actually went and joined a women's networking group. I joined the Athena Network. And I remember creating some flyers that offered free coaching sessions. And I thought, there's going to be somebody here that's going to want some support. And I handed them out, as you do. Nothing. Still nothing. And I thought, oh gosh, like I have this like real desire, this passion. I know I can help people. I just want to get my hands on someone and help them. Maybe they could smell that desperation. I don't know. So then I kind of took a step back, and I thought about who were the people that I'd coached during my coaching training. And all the people that I'd coached during my coaching training were women who had said that they were suffering with lower self-esteem and confidence issues. And these were certainly issues that I myself had dealt with. And I thought, okay, well, how about, I also thought about me, myself and I, and thought, well, sometimes there's that feeling of safety when you're within a group of people. And I thought, well, if these ladies don't really know me, maybe they would actually like to come to something that I arrange. So they get to hang out together. They get to experience what it's like to be with me, my energy. And it gives me the opportunity to work with them. And let's just see what happens. So like I just said, my self-esteem and confidence hadn't been that high myself. So it was a really big deal for me to decide to create my first workshop. But you know what? Making that decision was, well, Tony Robbins talks about drawing a line in the concrete, because that really is what happened. I made that decision to step up, and yeah, okay, I had a lot of fear, but I was going to do it anyway, and let's see what happens. And at my very first workshop, I think it was like 6 or 7 ladies that came. My knees were knocking. I was like, I think I was probably quite red in the face and a bit crazed. But you know what? It was amazing. It was great. And they said to me afterwards, oh, I didn't know you. We didn't pick up that you were nervous. And actually what happened from that first workshop, that the ladies were saying, when's the next workshop? And I was thinking, oh my God, I've just done this one. But it made me realize just how important getting people together are, and actually how I realized that, the message was bigger than my sense of fear. And so after the first workshop, another workshop came. And then before I knew it, I'd actually created a community. And then from that community, which I call Fab Friends Network, I was able to work with people consistently in a membership group every month, which was a lot of fun. It was amazing to see them transforming. I totally fell in love with all of them because they're just amazing women who've all got an amazing message and a gift to share with the world. So to be helping them, facilitating the meetings and bringing people together was just incredible. And also what I found was that, some ladies, just were happy to come to the sort of lower level meeting, but some of them wanted to work at a much deeper level. And that is really where it took off, because I was able to offer like inner circle groups. I was able then to offer VIP days. I was able to offer so many more things. And to have gone from like, oh, like no one knows what I can do. I've never worked with anyone before. I have no testimonials. I was, like waiting by the phone, like I say, and nothing was happening, to gone from that, facing my fear, pushing through it, realizing actually I love to be around people. Even though I'm highly sensitive and introverted, I realized that I could create a business that was not only profitable, but it was a lot of fun as well. And so, yeah, that's really, you know, how my business took off.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Can I ask you a couple of questions out of that?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
For your first workshop where you got your 6 or 7, was that a paid one or a free one?
It was paid for, but I made it really low. I made it really low because I think that if you start off with a workshop at, say, let's just play with figures, but say £97, for some people that's quite a large investment. And if they don't know who you are, you've got no referrals, no testimonials. It's kind of like, you know, it's quite a considerable amount of money for some people. Depends what sector you're in, I guess. Well, but for the ladies that I wanted to work with, I decided as well, actually, Kylie, that I would make it a half day, not a whole day. Because again, if I'm really honest, I didn't know back then if I could hold the energy for a whole day because I was scared. So actually I found that, yeah, I could, and that wasn't actually a big deal, but I needed to do it to find out. So I made it a really low price point. And like I say, it was about 5 years ago, and I think it was literally something like £17 a head. And it made sure that I covered all my expenses. So I wasn't out of pocket. I made a tiny bit of money, but I got 6 or 7 great testimonials. I got confidence. I realized it was something I could do. I'd created like a core of people that became my raving fans that would go out and tell other people and who wanted to come on my next events. It was worth it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a good model, like especially when you said, like you said, you're trying to gain maybe credibility in a new area or a new field, or, you know, just confidence. I think that's the thing. I think, you know, some people try and get you to start with all these high-end programs, but if you've got not necessarily, you don't have the confidence in that, you don't not necessarily know the stuff, but you obviously know the work. But
Yeah.
it's then going out there saying, will I actually get them results? And I think sometimes just being around a group that you get results for and hearing the feedback, and that is enough to then start to take it from there. So I think it's a nice way to start. Yeah.
It was fun. And it didn't put a lot of pressure on me either, you know, because if I had put it at £97 and nobody signed up, or, you know, I lost money, it wouldn't have been the great start that I had. So I think sometimes, you know, it's good to start. It's good to be humble. It's good to start low and just get going, because that was what it was about. It was about, you know, I think, you know, if you're going to run a marathon, for instance, you would do a bit of training. You wouldn't just like go for it. You wouldn't buy a brand new pair of trainers or whatever. I don't do marathons. Like your running shoes. You wouldn't just get out of bed one day and do it. You would kind of practice. You would put in the groundwork. You would build the muscle that you need to build, well, the muscles that you need to build to create it. And so when you're starting out and you have no experience, you haven't built those muscles, I think it's kinder to yourself to start at a lower level and build those muscles.
And did you give it
about muscles?
Build them up. And did you give it like a specific kind of topic area, or because obviously you're a life coach, weren't you? So was it very general for them to come along, or was it a specific targeted area?
I made it, the first one was about self-esteem. I actually called it Self-Esteem Booster Workshop. I probably wouldn't call it that now, but that's what it was. And I think, you know, they understood what it was. It was about self-esteem. It was about boosting it, and it was a workshop, so they knew they were going to be working on their self-esteem and giving themselves a bit of a boost. And yeah, and so I think as well, because when I think back with the clients that I work with, they are generally highly sensitive, and a lot of highly sensitive people do suffer with self-esteem challenges, as I have. And I think, you know, being visible and being out there as entrepreneurs, sometimes it actually does play on our self-esteem, you know. And so that first nucleus of people was spot on, really, for the clients that I've worked with all the way through over the last 5 years.
Fantastic. I mean, I hear different stories like that all the time. So, you know, you're certainly not alone there. I know a lot of people kind of suffer from that sort of thing, getting started. And, you know, and it's like you said, it takes a lot to get out. And I think, you know, it's been a really interesting journey for me, because I started selling someone else's product online for the first year I got online, and it was much easier than selling my own stuff. It's really interesting when you put yourself out there and you're putting yourself in that position. It's not as easy as everyone talks about. It's like suddenly you're being judged for your content. It's all about you then. And you've got to help these people. So yeah, it's not as easy as they say. And I agree with you totally. I hear stories about clients trying to get clients all the time. How do you build that tribe and that following? And I think it's a nice way to, like you said, build it and grow. Yeah, nurture it.
Yeah, definitely.
So why should we be doing them now? Why is it a good time to start and create and host workshops?
Well, first of all, why not? Because there's so much fun.
True.
Well, I would say that, there's so many social media platforms that are out there. People get stuck behind their computer screens. No offense, Kylie. I know we're on a Google Hangout right now.
But we were just saying that, weren't we? It's like nice to have that personal touch, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. And I think that because so many, having the internet has absolutely revolutionized the way that we can build businesses. And, it is like the industrial revolution of the modern age. It's just phenomenal what it can give us. But what I do think is that it's given women, I'm going to talk about women because that's who I work with. So predominantly, it's given women the opportunity, whether they're at home with kids, whether their kids have flown the nest, whatever. It gives women a great opportunity to create their own lifestyle business. And a lot of us who have created our lifestyle businesses are working from home. We're not in offices. And, being able to be around people is something that's really valuable. We as women love to do things together. We like to go shopping. We like to go to the toilet in pairs, don't we, when we're out? We like to phone our friends, and have a good old rant about our partners, or, a program on TV, or something that really means something to us. And the social aspect is really important. So I think now that there are so many women working in isolation, there's never been a better time to kind of bring them together, because that's what they're seeking. Facebook is great, but hey, you can't hug someone, not in real life, not properly. You can't touch them on the arm and say, God, you're doing a great job there. You can't share a piece of cake or a cocktail. It's a different kind of energy. And I think that women love to be in a room with the door shut, so it's safe, it's secure, and be inspired by other women who are role modeling what is possible. And for them to inspire others, for what is possible as well. So I think, that's something that, it's old school. Workshops are old school. The internet is new, but workshops will never go away. And there is that, they really are very relevant to this age. I also think that it's something very inspiring when you're in a room of people and you're working with them as part of a group, because often, you and I were just saying, sometimes people don't always voice up their questions, and actually when you're in a room full of people and they have that sense of security, when somebody asks a question or they're being coached in a group situation, often other people can have a bit of a breakthrough. A light bulb goes off for them because they think, oh yeah, I feel that way too, or that's happened to me. And it benefits them as well, just being on the sort of, just being in that energy. So I think that's good. I also think when you're demonstrating how you work as a coach, as a consultant, a trainer, whatever it is that you do, people really feel you. They really feel your energy when they're in a room with you in a way that they perhaps can't always through a social media post. So when they're actually in a room with you, it's that know, like, and trust factor. It kind of heightens it, whether it's a half a day, a whole day, or a retreat of 6 days or whatever. They really get to know you. And I think if you're somebody who's, if you're obviously wanting to grow your business and work with clients, it speeds up the traction of the know, like and trust, whereas through social media it can take quite a long time for somebody to go from 0 to 60. Yes, I want to work with you. They can make the decision there and then. Also, if there's somebody who is on the periphery who thinks, actually, I would really like to work with you, but I kind of feel like I need to know you, they can come along to your event, and then they're like, yeah, where's the, like, give us the sign up sheet, I'm ready to go. Yeah. I think it raises your visibility as well. So when you're promoting a workshop, you're out there on social media. So it's kind of like holding hands with social media. You can promote it through a Google Hangout like this. Not that I ever have, but you could. You know, a tele class or something like that. It holds hands with the virtual world as well, and I think that's really good. It leverages your time. Again, I think that's really important when we're looking to create a lifestyle that you know, serves us and serves our clients. And you can make products out of your workshop. So, you know, this is another reason why they're so relevant right now. You know, we're in the digital age. You can record your products. You're recording this Google Hangout. You know, you can record these things. You can sell them. They can become evergreen products. So there's never been an easier time to sell products. And ultimately, it gives you a great platform, not just to share your message, but to share your offer as well. So, you know, towards the end of a workshop, you know, they're all warmed up. They know what you're doing. They know how you can help them. They trust you. You're being very sincere and honest. You help people with their breakthroughs, and then you make an offer. And the people that are in the room know that, yes, they do want to work with you, or no, they don't, and that's fine as well. So workshops can make you good money. You know, there are times where I've replaced my, you know, previous annual salary in one day just by, you know, hosting an event. And I'd just like to say, most of my events are quite small. I've never done an event with more than about 25 people. So I'm not talking about big events here. I'm talking about quite intimate events, closed door events. And, you know, you don't have to have a lot of people to be able to make a big difference and make a lot of money.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, some really powerful points there, definitely. Oh, excuse me. In relation to, I think, again, when people think about speaking or events, they seem to think of these big events, you know, because obviously there are some, you know, and I really value your comment about the know, like and trust factor, you know, and it's a model that works, you know. I mean, if you look at some of the big speakers around, especially the big female speakers at the moment, you know, look at Jo Martin, look at Charlotte Wiseman, you know, in the UK, and, you know, they put a whole event on just to upsell their key programs, because they know if they get people in a room, the know, like and trust factor goes through the roof. It is like you said, if you can give away amazing value. I mean, Jo's just done her speaker training, and, you know, her whole day was $67 for the day. Yeah, now she filled a room of 80 or 90 people, which, you know, not everyone can pull together 3 days of that. But like you said, but what it did do was the upsell rate was phenomenal. And that's because they've given away so much value and they've built that know, like and trust factor. People like you said, they know straight away whether they want to work with you or they don't they? It's a really good sort of way of getting people through to getting to know. And you can add value and enjoy it as well, like you said.
Yeah, definitely.
You learn from them as well, I think. I think that's the other thing as well.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, when you, you know, you host an event, then you get to hear the language that your clients, your prospects are using. So, you know, when we're thinking about our marketing, we actually want to know what their struggles are, because it's the struggles we want to be able to help people to break through. And it's those struggles that we can connect with and, you know, we can use to, you know, we can put them on on sales pages. We can send out emails. We can do all sorts of things once we know the language, and we can pick so much of that up when we run a workshop. Yeah. Yep.
And create the next one.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because you're listening to what they're struggling with, aren't they? So what must you know then before you host a successful workshop?
Well, you really need to think about why you're doing it, because, you know, there are so many people that run events or have a go at it. But I think the really key thing is why are you doing it? Why do you want to do it? What do you want to gain from it? What's the purpose of it? That's really the first thing that you need to think about. And also about yourself, you know, not just professionally, what do you want to gain from it, but personally, what do you want to gain from it? Because, you know, we all say that, you know, being an entrepreneur is not for the faint-hearted. And, you know, if you're somebody that's quite, you know, like I was, quite apprehensive about speaking in front of a group of people, you know, before you even decide that you're going to do it, you have to decide, you have to make a choice, you have to make the decision. You know, am I going to face this fear? Am I going to go for it? Am I going to give it my best shot? And I think you need to know that before you start. So what's the purpose of it for your business? What's the purpose of it for yourself? I think that's really important. You also, you know, when you're thinking about what the purpose is of your workshop, then, you know, you want to think about, well, what are you going to do with it? I mean, is it going to be something that is part of a series? So like you just said, Kylie, you know, when you know what your ideal client struggles are, then you can help them to solve them. So you can actually run a second workshop. And that's the thing, you can create a series. So before you start, is it a standalone or is it actually part of a series? So, you know, you take them through a particular process. So that's something to think about. Is it one-off? Also, you know, how, before you decide you're going to do, and where does it fit in your business model? Is it something that is one of the, you know, the cheaper, one of the sort of more reasonably priced investments for them? Or is it going to be like the big ticket? Is it the big thing? So where does it come? What are you going to be offering as well? I think that's really important. So also when you're thinking about ticket sales, I think the other thing, you know, we talked before, mine were very inexpensive, my first workshop. And if I'd had, you know, ladies that had come to the workshop and paid £17, and then I offered them a £10,000 program, they probably would have keeled over in shock. So you have to also think about what is it you're going to offer in relation to, like, what is the ticket price and what's the sort of the venue like? You know, if I charged them £17, but then I took them to the Ritz, you know, on that, that wouldn't have really been in alignment with where they would be. And actually some of those ladies, because it was self-esteem, probably wouldn't have felt like they should be, you know, in inverted commas, should be at the Ritz. I remember being invited to go for a lunch at the Landmark in London. I remember thinking, me? Why am I being invited? I don't go to places like that. I don't belong in places like that. And I was really doubtful about whether I would go. And I think, again, before you start creating a workshop, you need to really think about your ideal clients who you want to have there. What kind of venue do they want to be in? You know, what's the ticket price, and what is it you're going to offer them that's kind of like going to be in natural flow, natural alignment with those other pieces. So some of the things that I've offered at my workshops have been group programs. I've offered individual, you know, intensive days. I've run 2 retreats in the south of France, so I've offered those at workshops. And obviously, you know, one-to-one sessions as well. So you really can create whatever you want as your offer, whatever it is that you feel really good about. And the other thing I think that you need to think about before you start is how much time do you have to market your event, because it depends on how big the event is. So that those people that are out there that are promoting these, you know, high-end days, you know, they're going to need a lot longer to promote. I mean, especially if they're looking for like hundreds of people, ideally. You know, I know that, you know, one of the ladies I interviewed for my recent Tele Summit, she starts a year ahead promoting for her big live event day.
Wow.
Which is it's quite a long time, but she wants to make sure that she has, you know, 100 or so people there. I personally allow 6 weeks to market a workshop. You can do it in less time, but you have to have a really robust marketing strategy if that's what you're going to do. You know, anything is possible if you believe that it is possible. So you could fill a workshop in a week, but I would suggest that if you're going from if you've never done one before, then you want to give yourself, you want to be kind to yourself, nurture yourself, you want to give yourself time to prepare for it. So I always say, you know, you need to allow 6 weeks. So those are some of the points that I would say that you need to think about before you host it. Oh, actually, I should just add another one in there, is what do you want to share? You know, you really need to know that before you start creating it. What is it? What's your message? What is it you want to share? And you know, often when I think about that, you know, I think about who have I worked with in the past, you know, what is it I've really enjoyed teaching or helping people to break through. So yeah, so those are some of the things I think you should think about before you host a successful workshop.
Fantastic. And I mean, I would say a lot of that similarly applies to doing an online one as well. You know, it is looking at kind of, you know, what it is you want to change, why you want to help them. You know, like you said, what do you want to get out of it? What's the next? I always look at what's the next action you want them to take when you're planning something like that. And it is, yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. And, you know, and I know your feedback is, like you said, and I think it's really important, like you said, when you look at your intimacy, it's like, do you want to, you know, a bigger event that's not as intimate, or is it, you know, what's the transformation you're taking people through? Is a more intimate event really important? And you don't have to be a big speaker to do intimate events either. I mean, Kelly Fidel with No Glass Ceiling, she doesn't allow any more than, I think, about 80, 90 in the room. She keeps it as low, like she could probably fill a room now of 300, 400, 500 people, but she won't do that because it detracts from the quality of the event she wants to put on. So again, it's like you said, when you start to look at the meaning behind your event, I think that's really important. So fantastic, some really great, really kind of step-by-step points people can go through there. So thank you so much for sharing that. It's really interesting and I hadn't thought about venue, but you're right, yeah, about making people feel comfortable at the right venue level. Because yeah, if you're going for a confidence thing, you wouldn't want to necessarily walk into the Ritz or something like that. You wouldn't, would you? It's really interesting. Yeah, it's about making them feel comfortable. And I guess the same with if you've got men and women, you know, what's the comfort zone? Can you put both of them in so they both feel comfortable being there? That sort of thing as well. So yeah, I hadn't thought about a venue from a client point of view rather than just where you think is great to have people meet. So really good points there.
Yeah, I think it's important. It's like the energy, how it feels as well. Like how are you as the you know, as the leader going to feel in that environment, and you know, to do your best work. Yeah, I think that's important as well.
Fantastic. I just want to kind of check in. I haven't had any live questions, but just a reminder, guys, if you are listening, there are a few people on the line listening at the moment that are, I can see that they're there. So it's like if you've got any questions or you want to kind of ask about your workshops or, you know, if you've had experiences in the past, please do put a comment below. There is a box below the video where you can put comments or just message me direct on Facebook and I'll get the questions answered. Some of the girls like to do that. It's easier. So yeah, please don't forget to ask about your experiences. So what about in relation to going through attracting clients? This has got to be the one thing I think that most people go, oh, I don't know what if I want to put a workshop on. What if no one turns up? You know, it's that sort of thing, isn't it? So how do you recommend then people go ahead and attracting people to fill workshops?
Okay, you know, this is the thing, isn't it? This is the thing that kind of a lot of people think, oh God, you know, what if no one turns up? It's the stuff of nightmares, isn't it? But somebody told me that Panache Desai actually once had no attendees at one of his events, and he still went ahead anyway, and he spoke to an empty room. And he signaled to the universe, to himself, I'm actually ready, even if you guys are not here, I'm ready. And I think, you know, sometimes you have to just think, I am going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to fill this. I'm going to have the belief that I can fill this. What do I need to do? Like, what steps can I take to get this filled and sell out, because that is ultimately what you want. And it is almost, again, it's that drawing a line in the concrete about having you know, that determination that I am going to do this. One of my clients contacted me recently. She wanted to do a retreat, and she said, do you think I can do it? I've only got a short amount of time to promote it. And the thing is, if you believe you can, it's that Henry Ford, if you believe you can, you can. You know, if you say you can't, then you can't. So which is it? Are you going to, yeah, which one are you going to do it? Yeah, go for it. So some of the tips that I've got for this then are, you really want to have, first of all, a way for people to be able to buy a ticket. Now, I know that sounds like it's really obvious, but if nobody knows how to actually buy the ticket, you could be shouting it from the rooftops and people are like, yeah, but like, where's the button? Or how do I do? Like, what's the process? Do we pay on the day? Like, what do we have to do? So I would suggest that having a great sales page doesn't have to be particularly long. You want to make sure you've got some testimonials, and you want to share what the benefits are going to be, and then have a really clear call to action about buying a ticket, and have that so that it jumps out. I personally haven't used Eventbrite, but I know a lot of people do very successfully.
I have. It's good.
Yeah, and that's a really easy way to you know, to throw up a sales page and have that buy now button, and make it really, really easy for people to do that. So I think that's the first thing. I would also say you want to create a flyer that you can literally give to people personally when you meet them. You know, something that actually they can pass on to a friend. They can put in their bag, you know, so when you're out and about and you're telling somebody about it, you can actually put it in front of them. Because remember, some of the you know, what we're talking about here is not just about being visible on social media. We're talking as well about creating an offline way of working. So, you know, when you're out and you're having a conversation with the checkout girl at Tesco's, or, you know, a taxi driver, or whoever's your ideal client, you've got something you can actually say, you know, because otherwise you say, oh, just go and have a look on whatever. They don't. So make it really easy. Make it really simple. Use social media. So engage on social media, you know, share value on social media, teach if you like, and inspire people with your message. You know, get into forums and don't just be spamming them with, hey, come to my event, it's going to be awesome, but actually giving them value so they think, oh, you know, what is it that she does, and wow, she knows her stuff, you know. Oh, when they do see then that you've got an event, they're like, oh, you know, that's for me, I want to go to that. And I think if you're highly sensitive, then, you know, this is where you have to put on your big girl's pants, and you have to be prepared to be visible. And you've got to think about that line in the concrete again and think, ooh, it might feel a little bit, ooh, sometimes to be out there and being visible. But, you know, this is the difference that makes all the difference. You know, if you want to fill and sell out your workshop, then you've got to let people know about it. You can't keep it a secret. I found creating videos has been really useful as well. So, you know, when you're promoting your event, make some videos. They don't have to be, you know, they only literally need to be a couple of minutes long. Just really connecting with the ideal client, sharing with them the benefits. I was taught years ago that facts sell, stories sell. So give them, you know, maybe a little story or just something that feels tangible to them. You don't need to tell them the logistics of but really the benefits of why they might like to come along. And remember at the end of your video to put a call to action on there. Again, buy your ticket, you know, tickets selling fast, you know, limited seats, all of that. I also think as well that when you're actually meeting someone, so if you go to a networking meeting, for instance, you actually want to invite them to your event, like you're inviting them to your party. So if you were having a party, you know, a week on Saturday, you wouldn't say, oh yeah, I'm having a party a week on Saturday. It would be really great to see you there. There's going to be some really cool people. You'd be like, hey, I'm having a party a week on Saturday. Honestly, it's going to be so much fun. Are you able to come? Are you free? You know? And that's the energy. It's like your party, and you want people to really feel warm about coming. Like, yes, I want to be in your energy, and I want to be there. And I mentioned there about networking groups, and that's how I filled a lot of my early events before I started to create my own community. So I joined the Athena network. There's lots of networks that are out there. So go along, you know, and have these flyers that you can actually hand out and give to people and invite them, again, with that really warm energy to come along, you know, and that call to action. Something else that you can do to fill your places is, you know, do something like this, a Google Hangout, or, you know, go and give a talk. You know, find who might like to have you as a speaker. Where can you add value? Because that's, you know, what we know it's all about. Or, you know, sometimes what I've done is actually create my own webinar. So, oh, I'm so sorry, Kylie. It's my home number ringing.
That's all right. See, and the thing about being live, you've got to deal with the unpredictable. It's great.
It's so real.
Yeah, exactly. That's all about it.
I hope that wasn't my mum I just hung up on.
Oops. She'll forgive you, I'm sure, when you tell her how amazing value you've been sharing.
Yay. No, don't go away. Sorry.
They're not going to give up, though.
They will give up. Right, sorry about that. So you also want to promote to your list as well. So obviously, you know, if you've already got an established business, then you want to promote to your list in the lead up. I often start with an early bird price. So I let my list know that if they secure their ticket early, then they get a discounted rate. It also, when you do that, gives you a reason to keep contacting your list, because then you want to be able to, you can let them know that the early bird is actually going to be expiring, like, you know, midnight on Friday. So, you know, have you got your ticket? Always think about that call to action. Think about as well, who do you know who works with clients, the same clients that you work with? So, you know, maybe you are a nutritionalist, let's say. So who else works with the ideal clients who might have a list? So maybe yoga instructors, maybe, you know, therapists who deal with, you know, well-being. Maybe they might be working with the same clients as you. So contact them and ask them, would you help me to share the message about this workshop? Now, you can go down the affiliate route, or you can just say, you know, and obviously in return, I will help you when you've got something. You know, I'm very much about, you know, just helping people because you believe in what they do and you want to help them rather than what's in it for me. But some people are what's in it for me, and there's nothing wrong with that either. So it's up to you how you want to play that one. Get on the phone as well. So who do you know who's expressed an interest in working with you in the past? Maybe they haven't been able to work with you because financially, maybe they're not ready to go for the big package, but maybe they'd just like to come along to your event. Or maybe it's a past client that you've really loved working with and you want to offer them, you know, make sure that they've seen it, but they might like to come along. So really think about who can you get on the phone to. And like I mentioned before, teleclass, do something like a teleclass or a webinar, somewhere that you can share your expertise before you've actually got them in the room. So, you know, they will be drawn in because you're already demonstrating what you can do. So those are some of the things that I've done. And I'd just quickly like to mention there about Facebook ads, because I know some people say, oh, can you sell tickets with Facebook ads? And I think the truth is, yes, you can if they're at quite a low price point, but most people won't buy something of a substantial price point from a Facebook ad because they really want to get to know you first. So you can use Facebook ads if your event is free, or if it's, you know, very low price point investment. But really what you want to do is give them something they can sign up for free, and then they're in your list, and then you can share the opportunity about coming to your event.
Yeah,
Hope
so
that
use
covers
a lead.
some of them.
Yeah, use a lead magnet first, something that's obviously interesting to them, topic area beforehand. Yeah, before you try and sell them something. No, that's awesome. I'm writing a long list. I want to run some workshops, so I'm like, oh, okay, I hadn't thought of that one. Some really great ideas there, and you know, it's like you said, some simplistic. And I think the thing is, as well, I think that people do forget, and I think some of the key ones you mentioned is, you know, don't be scared to pick up that phone. Is like you said, if you're only filling a room of 10 and you want to get your first one filled, then some personal contact. And you know, another nice way of doing it with people, if you don't want to ask them direct, you know, or if you've got really warm contacts but you don't know that it's for them, you know, you can send it to them and say, look, do you know anyone that might be interested? You're not actually pitching to them, but you're sort of saying, look, I'm running this workshop, I'd love to, if you know anyone that might value from this. So again, it's a nice way of a subtle approach rather than a kind of a direct approach. If, you know, you might think that people might know people that could send them away. It's quite a nice way of doing it as well. But yeah, a lot of people just forget the basics, don't they? They think they have to have this big master plan. And, you know, I see it a lot with online marketers. It's like they think they have to have this big funnel and they have to do all this. And actually, you're trying to fill a room of 10 people, not 9, like you said, not 100 people. So actually, you know, it's your warm market, it's people that you've met, it's networking, it's chatting, it's talking to people. So yeah, no, I love that approach.
And I think, like,
and obviously it builds momentum.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and just think, like, what would be, you know, you don't have to do all of those things that I talked about. You could just think, well, which ones would I like to do, and what would be fun for me? You know, if it would be fun to go networking. You know, if it'd be fun for you to spend more time on social media and getting people to come, then do that. It's whatever, you know, feels good to you, because that's what, you know, we're creating these lifestyle businesses. They're meant to be fun, they're meant to be enjoyable. We don't need to go for the hardest options. We want to go for the ones that we think we're going to get the best return from, that are going to feel good.
Yeah, because that's the thing, and that's what puts a lot of people off, not necessarily selling as well. I mean, I know it's selling as in you are offering a ticket, but actually, like you said, if you're having conversations with people and you're doing it in ways that you feel comfortable, it's not about selling then. It's just about letting people know there's an opportunity there if they're interested. I think it takes that pressure off, that kind of feeling like you have to sell when, you know, it's like you said, it's not. You're just providing some great value, and if people are interested, fantastic, great. So it kind of drops that a little bit, doesn't it? And interesting, you mentioned the Athena, because I used to run the Athena Chiswick for 2 years.
Did you?
I did, yes. I ran that while I was working in a state agency for about 2.5 years. I think I ran the Chiswick office, and then I was meant to go back to Australia and quit, and then I didn't go, and I'm still here. So I was talking to actually Jacqueline only a couple of weeks ago, who obviously set it all up, Jacqueline Rogers. So that's how I know Jacqueline.
Oh, yeah, she's lovely.
She's lovely, isn't she? And they've got a great network, and there's lots of them. I mean, and that's the thing, you know, the benefit of, obviously I know you live out of London, but the benefit of being in London, there's so many networking events. You know, there's so many meetup opportunities and chances to meet, you know, lots of amazing women entrepreneurs. So you've just got to get out there and see what suits you and who you connect with. But yeah, perfect way of doing it. And interesting, and like you said, and don't forget your lead up time again. So it gives you some time to actually get out there and do that. So perfect. I've got lots of checklists. It's great. And I didn't mention your free bonus. We have got a free bonus as well, where the lovely Ali offered a free bonus to anyone that's viewing this or going to be watching the replay. I know a couple of people have said they can't make it and they're going to watch it tomorrow. But yeah, you've given us an essential workshop checklist. So I'm sure lots of this is going to be on there anyway. So I can't wait to have a read of that later and go through that. So thank you. There will be a link below the video. So I actually already put that up because I'm super efficient this time. Normally I put up afterwards, but it's there. So anyone that watches the video can click through, add their details, and you get the benefit of Ali's knowledge. So we're down to the how to overcome the fear of speaking to a small group.
Yes. Well, now, the other night, I was watching Graham Norton's show. Did you?
I love Graham Norton. Graham Norton is
I'm not really going.
He's my sunrise. I watch because I don't have a TV. I don't watch TV, but he is my Saturday morning laughter, because he's always on Friday night. So I always watch him first thing Saturday morning. I love watching Graham Norton. I just love him. He's just so funny all the time. I always wake up laughing.
Just a little name drop here. My daughter, Becky Rue, she photographed his dinner party a few years ago. But anyway, yes. Anyway.
We have to name drop. Nothing wrong with name dropping occasionally.
But the reason that I mentioned Graham Norton is because I was watching it on Friday night, excuse me, and he had Meryl Streep on there, and he had Nicole Kidman, and he had some other Nigella Lawson, and another fantastic actress, I've forgotten her name. But one thing that they talked about was the fear of being, Meryl Streep talked about the fear of being in the Suffragettes movie. She talked about her one scene really that she's got, and she talked about how fearful she'd felt around this scene. And then Nicole Kidman was talking about how right now she's actually in the West End in London, and she's treading the boards, and she talked about the fear. And I thought, isn't it amazing how we seem to think that we're supposed to be fearless when we're humans, we're not robots. We have feelings, and there's a lot of emotion going on in us. And if these women who we kind of look up to as, Meryl Streep's got about 1 billion, Oscars, and Nicole Kidman's not far behind her with what she's doing. You sort of think, oh, okay, so they get scared too. It's normal, it's normal, it's natural. And I think, a big part of being able to perform, whether it's at a workshop or on the stage, is actually just accepting that it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with us, or that, we shouldn't feel fearful. We just need to just know that actually that happens. That's normal. And I think I said at the beginning that I realised for myself, because I was absolutely terrified when I first did my workshop, but the message was bigger than the sense of fear that I had, because I'm really about helping women to transform and to become the women that I know they can be, the women they know they can be, and break through the blocks that get in the way. And that message is much bigger than any fear that I might have that might prevent me from doing that work in the world. So, I think that's the thing. We have to accept that we're not perfect and that we're human. We don't have to get everything right. Hey, we didn't lose it because my phone rang a couple of times in the background. Like, the show must go on. Nothing is perfect. There's no point in trying to be something you're not. You just got to be who you are, because that's the real deal. That's the authentic person that people want to see. And actually, if you fluff things up a little bit, it just makes them, that it endears you to people, because they just think, that's the kind of thing I'd say, or that's the kind of thing that would happen to me, or it's more about how you recover from the things that don't go so well. So I think that's important. I also think that, when you're speaking in front of a group, that you're giving them a gift, So if you were to give somebody a gift at Christmas or their birthday or something, you wouldn't just ram it down their throats and shove it in their faces. Be kind of about it. You would to them with love. You would want them to receive it in a really loving way, like, oh, I've got this for you, I really hope you love it. And it's that kind of energy that's a lot more, I don't know, it's just a much gentler energy. So you don't have to guess it right. You don't have to put on the social mask, and you just got to be who you are, and people will accept your gift, your message, the way that the way you want it to be. So some of the things.
I'll just give you one tip on that, just perfect flow of that conversation as well, because obviously I did Jo Martin's speaker training the other week, and what she talks about with that as well is it's like you said, get up there and be yourself, but also get permission to be yourself, because it relaxes everyone else around you. So she kind of jokes about if you've got something really strange about you, or she used the example of an accountant saying, look, I am going to be boring. I'm an accountant. I'm not a public speaker. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm an accountant, but what I can do is save you over 20% on your taxes, and I'm going to save you shitloads of money. So is it okay if I be boring for the next hour, but give you great content? And it relaxed everyone. So it relaxes everyone, so they don't sit there thinking all the way through, oh my God, he's so boring. So it takes away the distraction. So it's really like you said, if you're a bit nervous, or if it's the first time or whatever, get up there and tell them that. So look, this is the first time I presented this work. I do this all the time with my private clients, but I've never done it in a group. I've never spoken like publicly like this before, but I know you're going to get amazing value on it. And it relaxes everyone, because then it relaxes you, because you've told everyone it's okay. They don't worry about you stuttering, or maybe having to use your paper because you need to check notes or whatever it is, and then suddenly all your presentation relaxes. So I think it just flowed on beautifully on what you were saying there in relation to kind of, be yourself, don't be scared, and don't be scared to share your nerves behind it, because people acknowledge that, they love it. I'll get up and say, look, I'm a big loud Aussie, and forgive me, but that's where I come from. And, people joke about it, but it relaxes them, because then they know, oh, that's okay. I'm not going to focus on that all the way through the talk. So again, it detracts them focus, so they don't sit there and not judge you necessarily, but it detracts their attention. If something's bugging them, or they're thinking that, it'll detract from actually the great content you're providing them. So I just thought that flowed beautifully with what you're talking about with workshops. So
when I started tonight, I said, this is the first time I've done a Google Hangout, because
perfect. Yeah, perfect example. It's like, hey, this is new technology for me, and that's great, because it sets everyone. So if something had happened, we'd probably just joke about it. We'd go, oh, well, she's turned us off, and you would, because you could relax into that, because it allows them to kind of not laugh about it, but if something does go wrong, then it's okay, because, you've explained it, you've put everyone at ease. And I think it's a lovely way to do it. It's a very authentic way of doing things.
Yeah, that's right. So that's good. And also, I think, when you're wanting to overcome any fear that's coming up about speaking to a group, is actually just acknowledge it, write down some of the fears that might be coming up. Like, one of the things I like to do is get a piece of A4 paper, kind of fold it vertically, and then in the left-hand column, I write down all the sort of, the things that my inner gremlin, my ego's coming up with, like, what if you fluff it all up? And what if nobody's interested? Yeah, what if no one's interested? What if this? What if that? Just dump it all down, all that chatter that goes on. And then what I do is I kind of look at it and think, well, is it really true? A bit of the Byron Katie stuff. Is that just my story? I'm just telling, like, how would I feel if I didn't believe that was true? Would that be more empowering? Well, of course it would be. And then what I do is, on the right hand side, I write something that I would rather believe, like, I'm going to change hundreds of lives, or my event will sell out, it's going to be fun. I will make, I will have people buy my offer, who want to continue working with me. I write down all the things that I would rather be saying to myself, and then I say them to myself, and I chant them to myself. And I think it actually really helps in the run up to an event to just be really mindful about being in your power and not allowing it to start sort of draining away. And if it helps, say affirmations and say them to yourself in the mirror and look in your own eyes, and just own the awesomeness that you are. So I think that's important, and just be aware of that mind chatter that comes up, and just turn it down and choose to think something positive.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people kind of say, acknowledge it, thanks for protecting me, but I'm okay. And go on with, like you said, your positive stuff, because it's only, like you said, it's protecting you, isn't it? It's making sure that you're in your little cocoon, and that's okay, it's great. Thank you for being there, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the A4 page. I haven't done that before, so I'm going to remember that if I get a block or if I get chatter coming up. I like that. It's a simple process to go through, isn't it? And just reverse it and look down and go, oh no, that's rubbish.
That's not true. And just to finish up here, it's just, I mentioned about, you wouldn't run a marathon without having kind of like, done a bit of preparation. And I think, like most of us know how to tie our shoelaces, but we weren't born knowing how to do up our shoelaces. Someone had to show us, and then we practiced it and we remembered how to do it. And I think it's like anything that we do, we need to relax, breathe. We need to know that it's possible. If they can do it, I can do it. There's no real difference. So maybe I just need to practice. Maybe I need to not worry if it's not all perfect. Maybe there aren't, 20 people there. Maybe there are only 6 or 7 like I had at my first event, and just be okay with it. Make it fun and know that you're changing lives, and that's the key thing here. That's a big driver for you. Then get out there and do it. So
fantastic. Yeah. Such awesome content. I can't wait. I've got checklist after checklisting here. And just out of curiosity, we've just got one question. Like, obviously you work with a lot of women entrepreneurs. Do you find like different days or weeks or weekends matter? Just to add, this is a real kind of techie one. Or do you find like if you're trying to put a one dayer on, do you find with women it's like during the week or weekends or?
Well, this is a good point. This is a really good question, actually, because I think you need to know your ideal client and when they're around. So I ran an event at the Shard in February, and it was actually, it gets quite booked up on Fridays, and I wanted it to be a Friday, and it was actually during half term, and I thought most of my ideal clients don't have children, their children are older, so it wouldn't matter. But it actually, in fact, realised that a lot of them look after the grandchildren, or they do actually they are with their children. So I think what you need to do is be really aware of who your ideal client is and ask them. You need to decide when you want to have your event, but do your market research, because some people don't want to do afternoon. Some people would come to something in just a morning. It's a less of a commitment of time. So if you're working with corporate women and you're not working through a corporate, you're not actually working directly with the corporation, with the company, and that might mean somebody has to take a day off work. Well, they might actually prefer to come on a weekend, rather than have to take a day, a day's leave off work. Or maybe they would actually rather have a half day than a whole day, if they're taking time off work. So I think what's important is you to decide as the leader, when are you available and when do you want to do this? And then do your market research and just test the water and see, when's going to be good. Because it may be that you don't actually know when the school holidays are or that kind of thing. And you need actually them to say, actually, I wouldn't be able to do them because it's half term or it's Easter holidays or whatever. So yeah, I think that's
fantastic. That was the only other one that I kind of wrote down. I was just playing with any other questions I kind of thought of. If anyone else has got any questions, do put them up live. I haven't seen any come through as yet. And no one's messaged me, which is unusual. Normally at least one person messages me, but not tonight, but that's okay. Means they're obviously, you're giving away lots of valuable content. You see, that's it. They're all going, oh, now what can I do? So you have given away heaps. And what I tend to do, because we have hit the hour and I'm obviously very conscious of your valuable time, is I like to end the show with a question around, you've obviously built a lifestyle business, or you've got elements of a lifestyle business. So I always like to ask, what is it that you love about your business at the moment? And where can we see maybe Ali in the next 2-3 years?
Ooh.
What's something you can add to you?
God, that's a sneaky little question that I didn't know was coming. Okay, what do I love about my business? Do you know what, actually, Kylie? I feel like a bit like Madonna at the moment. I kind of feel like I'm in a bit of a reinvention phase. And so what I'm loving at the moment is that I'm connecting more and more with my truth. I'm actually kind of letting go of the need to be something I'm not, or I'm just loving. I'm loving that I can be on this call with a nice cozy jumper on and not feel like I've got to go and put some fancy dress on or wear designer gear. It's just about being real and authentic. And I feel that that's the direction that my business is going in. And it's really still helping women to empower themselves to be all that they can be, and helping those women who are, you know, entrepreneurial to create workshops that change lives and make them money. So I see my business going in that direction. And, you know, in the short term, I'm off to Sydney next week to go on a cruise, the Abraham Hicks cruise. And, you know, I'm really grateful that I have a business that allows me to have a sense of freedom and do the things that I absolutely love to do. And, yeah, long may that continue.
Awesome, that's beautiful. And if people want to connect with you, obviously I know you've offered that amazing freebie, so that's going to be below the video, like I said. So if anyone's watching the replay, don't forget to pick up your free worksheet. But yeah, do you want to share what maybe something you're working on, or your contact details?
Well, yeah, I mean, the worksheet, I'm just going to give it to you now just in case anybody doesn't see it on there, but it's
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's www.workshopsecretschecklist.co.uk. So if you go there, you'll be able to download that. Go to my website, which is www.alisoleil.com. I've also got a Facebook group called Global Fab Friends. And, you know, that's really all about friendship, connection, celebration. Yeah, it's just about being real, really.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for your time. I don't think there are any other questions. So it's been awesome having you here. You've just given so much great content out. And I know other people watching this later on down the track will just be going, yay, this is fantastic. Thanks very much. You know, it's a really nice way, like you said, to reconnect with your audience. Stop necessarily working one-on-one, but like you said, work in a group. It can benefit you time-wise, saving-wise, but also there's huge benefits to your clients as well. Like you said, getting them to open up more and them to kind of work and build a network and community for themselves, which is absolutely awesome. So thank you, Ali. I really appreciate having you here. And guys, I'm going to sign off. I don't have a show lined up for next week, which is the first time ever in a long time I haven't, because I've been so busy writing. I realise normally I have 2 or 3 in a row lined up, and I haven't confirmed dates. I've got 4 people outstanding dates, so I'm going to get on the phone tomorrow and get it sorted. So apologies for that, but hey, we'll hopefully see you next week sometime, and for the next show. If not, it'll be the week after anyway, but you know I'm always around, guys, and we look forward to speaking to you again shortly. So we'll see you. Bye. Thanks, Ali.
Thanks, Kylie. Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone.
And Ali, if you want to hang on for a sec.
Sure.